So for 5 years, and since before the pandemic, I have not done my semi-permanent makeup on my eyebrows. So today I'm here and I thought I would show you exactly what it's like, because it's an interesting process and it's a really useful thing to know if, like me, you've got sparse eyebrows. This video is going to show what it's like to have semi-permanent makeup on your eyebrows, eyebrow tattooing. Now this is something that I've done for many years, but I haven't done it in 5 years because the pandemic got in the way and I discovered the joys of an eyebrow pencil. But now my shape is so faded that I've decided that I need a top up just to get my shape back. So here I am with Kathy at Dermaspa, and she's going to explain to us what it is.
Okay, so I think the best thing to start with is just confirm it is a form of tattooing. So we do use a really fine needle to put colour into the skin that's a pigment, so it does fade out gradually rather than an ink which has got a little bit more heaviness to it, so that's why it stays in the skin. We can use one of two tools really. We either have a manual device, which is known as microblading, or a really fine needle attached to a digital machine, which again can create the illusion of strokes or shading. It's great for just putting back definition and shape to the brows. If people have lost them through alopecia or chemotherapy, then we can recreate brows. And just as you get a little bit older, your brows become a little bit sparse. And sometimes it's nice just to put them back and sort of like restore them to what they were. So they should frame your face, they should be age appropriate, and really, just really soft, really natural, just your brows, but sort of a better finish to them.
So Kathy, you just said something there. You said age appropriate. So what do you mean by that?
Yes, absolutely. So only too often people want to go for a fashion brow, and as we all know, fashions change, don't they? And we want something that's going to suit your face, not just now, but in years to come. We want to restore your brow to what it was naturally. So we don't tend to go for anything that's like a fashion statement. We tend to go for something that will frame your face, fit in with your expression, your bone structure, and just look like it belongs to you.
It's like everybody's doing those absolutely huge brows now, aren't they?
I know what you mean.
I call them cookie cutter, because everybody looks like they've got the same brows that are absolutely huge. And I think on a mature face in particular, it's going to be deeply unflattering. What do you think?
I think absolutely. You've got to have something that looks like it belongs to you.
And it's in proportion to your face.
Absolutely. It doesn't belong, one fit and one style doesn't suit all. It's got to be tailored to you and bespoke to you individually, absolutely. So by age appropriate, it means it looks like it belongs to your face.
Exactly. I've always thought that. And I always think, brows are so important. I've always said they're the starting point of your face. They're more important than any makeup you can use or treatments, because when you have good brows and a good shape, it is the most flattering thing that can age you up or down by 10 years. They can really make you look more youthful. Now, you also mentioned all, the various reasons and medical reasons you can have for losing hair, but there are also many people like me who over-plucked in their youth, and their eyebrows don't go back. And for years, I used to painstakingly, with a little brush and a tool, spend hours every day filling in my brows. So for me to have them tattooed and semi-permanent makeup was life-changing for me, because I could get up and for the first time since my youth, my brows were ready to go. So there's so many reasons where,
Lifestyle, absolutely. We're all busy, time is really precious, and if we can just reduce that makeup routine, so we've got that template there ready to follow, for an everyday look, it looks like, it's part of you, and if you can add more in with more makeup when you go out of an evening. So yeah, it's just saving time.
I just also, so of course nothing's easy, is it? Because, so I have a little problem with my tattoos, and that is I've been tattooing for a long time, and even though I haven't done it in 5 years now. I have a buildup of pigment. It's very faded, but it's there.
Yes.
So, Kathy, you were saying to me that it's actually going to be very difficult to tattoo me today, and that in an ideal world, I would actually have the colour, because it'll be hard to see the little brush strokes. So that's one of the problems when you've been tattooing for a long time. And you said, what should I do to get the best results?
So what happens over time is the pigment builds up. You know, it creates like a residue in the skin. Pigments have changed so much over the years. But what we can do, we can actually put in a lifting solution, tattooing that in, that's like a salt saline solution that will just pull some out. Or if it was a really thick, heavy sort of look, then we would suggest going for laser to lift out the colour and start again. But a good technician should work quite lightly, so over time, even if there is a residue, we can still have something we can work with, but you wouldn't necessarily get that nice crisp stroke that you would if you was working on virgin skin.
Right, so really I should be getting rid of the colour and starting again, but because I am incredibly impatient and because I'm always filming and because you would have some downtime
Yes.
with a laser and then I'd have to wait 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm filming very soon, later this week, so I don't have that time. So I've asked Kathy, even though she won't be able to give me the result that she will be happy with, I said, I believe in you, Kathy. Let's just go over all this old colour.
Let's give you a nice shape.
And let's just to restore my shape. And then if it doesn't work, or it's really not good, then what I'll do is I will have to just succumb and come back when I have a gap in my schedule and get rid of the colour and start again. But I'm hoping we can do something with what I've got today.
Absolutely, we'll do our best as always.
Thank you. So Kathy has now drawn in my eyebrows, and they look a little bit darker and a little bit bigger. Such a nice shape. And what she's doing now is she's putting colour swatches on my forehead so we can decide. I always do quite an ashy colour, but I think because it was so faded, she might be doing a lighter colour today. What are you thinking, Kathy?
I think I want to keep with a ash-toned result, but because it's still quite ash there, I might put a little bit of warmth through it, so it won't actually look warm. It will just sort of like neutralise the colour that's built up over the last few years. Well, you've been having it done for like, what, 15 years, I'd say?
At least 15, maybe even 20, except I haven't been for the last... Well, we were saying, I thought it hadn't been for 5 years, but Kathy and I were talking about it. It might actually be longer. I might not have been for 6 years.
It's like anything, though, with technology. Things change over time. You know, pigments now are so much more well-developed.
Yeah.
It was brilliant back then, but now we look back, it was very primitive.
The pigment.
You know, the pigment.
So the pigment has really improved now.
Oh, absolutely. In terms of like, it fades quicker.
So Kathy, you were just saying about the pigment, because we're choosing a pigment here for my eyebrows. And what were you saying about pigment?
Yeah, pigments do change in the skin over time. They do fade. And you do have to avoid using any products with like retinols and glycolics in them, because it can strip the colour and change the colour. So pigments have improved in terms of the way they're manufactured and the ingredients that are in them, but they do fade quicker now.
Oh, do they? They fade quicker?
So I would say they fade quicker. You're going to have the top up round about every 18 months. So we sort of like balanced safety with retention. They are very safe to put in the skin. Obviously, we do patch test, but they do fade a little bit quicker now. And I would say that you're going to have less of a residue left over time.
Right. So that's actually what I needed, less residue.
But with anything, we look back 15, 20 years ago when I started, it was the best we had at that time.
Right.
But like anything with technology and products, it changes. You know, but what we want to do is just create a nice natural brow. Still, that is always the objective.
So now we're leaving the pencil shape there, which is like a black pencil, which is why it looks quite dark. And now we're going to begin with the actual tattooing. So I'm covered here in case any pigment spills. Got my hair out the way. And here we go. By the way, you put anaesthetic on beforehand, which sort of numbs the feeling. It really doesn't feel that bad, I don't think. But I have got numbing cream on. And I don't know if you can hear that little whirring sound from the digital needle. But Kathy's working right over the pencil. I've just remembered that it always makes me want to sneeze, like in the middle of your eyebrow, the bit closer to the nose, just always makes me want to sneeze.
We've got some old colour there, but you can still see where I've just sort of like set some template strokes in to build up your new shape.
Right.
So it's just, and then I'll just do the other one, then I'll pop on a little bit more anaesthetic and then just fill in the gaps.
Yeah, so Kathy does it, and then she wipes with a cloth. So now she's wiping the pencil off. But we're actually just going to do, we're going to do quite a light job today. Because of my situation with having all this faded colours, it's going to be quite difficult for her to get those lovely natural strokes. So we're just going to do it lightly today. We're not going to do a full-on job, just to see how it goes, and then we can decide, you know, what to do in the future. I'm probably going to have to go through a process to get rid of the colour and start again, but let's see what happens today. So we're just coming to the end of doing it now. And it didn't take long, and as I said, Kathy, it'll be darker now. It for the first few days after you do it, it's always darker, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So, and then it also, after a few days, it could start peeling. Is that right?
Yeah, it will flake a little bit, so it will go a bit darker as it just oxidises in the skin. Then after about 3 days, it will start flaking and go really light. And then we won't actually see the true healed colour until about week 4.
Right.
And so we've left your strokes quite far apart, just so it gives texture. So if they do merge and blend with the old tattoo residue, the old residue, then at least it'll look textured rather than solid.
So Kathy's had to adapt her method because I've got quite solid faded colour. So she was just saying she's done the strokes further apart so that it doesn't all blend together. So it's going to go darker for the first few days. It's going to flake a little bit for a few days. Then it's going to look lighter. And then only in about 4 weeks will the true colour and effect emerge. So you need a little bit of patience.
Gel on to calm down.
So we're finished. We're just putting a little bit of gel on it to calm it down. And then it's just a waiting game, really, for a few weeks. So, all done. And very nice to have a proper shape restored after all these years. And as I said, we've gone for a very light version because we're dealing with years of colour that's stuck here. So we're going to see how this goes. And as Kathy was saying, the new generation of pigments are much lighter now. So the problem that I have, probably people who are starting now doing semi-permanent makeup, it's going to be less of a problem. So I really do need to start from scratch. But yeah, so I hope that's shown you what it's like. I mean, it's been life-changing for me, who, you know, over-plucked and my eyebrows didn't grow. And now I wake up and my eyebrows are there and ready to go. And I do think shape is everything. So it's really good to go to somebody who's good, who uses the right pigment, the right color, the right size needle, and who gives you a great shape, because at the end of the day, shape is everything.